in the nether regions of the pot. That's a negative, but just enough to cover the surface of the sand so that you don't get rain scourage, so the rain doesn't scour the surface and expose the sand. And then you start double flushing it. And the more times you double flush in a day, the more growth you'll get out of your plants. And like with Sarracenia, if you like it, flush it 4 times a day, like you get up at night time to give an extra double flush, you'll get about 2 centimetres growth every day out of your Sarracenias during the growing season, basically. And you can even fatten them up, the rhizome, if you double flush during the wet or the winter time, you can actually watch your rhizome fatten up as well, and the roots will grow in the bucket as well. So you might want to try that out. So basically, you double flush up to about 500 mils, maybe, depending on how deep you've got your layer in here, sort of thing. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Probably have to wait for those bubbles to break down before it goes through, sort of thing, and then it'll drip out the bottom. And basically, you double flush. You do your first flush, and the second flush begins when it stops dripping from the first flush. That's when you do the second flush. So you let it drip, 1 drip per second, basically. That's the best time you want. And then you start the second flush, and immediately it stops dripping from the first flush. You fill it up again, and you do it again. And that's your double flush, basically. And that will work with any sort of organic matter you got on the surface. You know, your coir, your peat, newspaper cellulose, anything organic, basically. Now we're going to try it with this inorganic replacement substitute, I suppose, with the salt that doesn't burn, a replacement for the so-called ashen layer. So my idea or theory, hypothesis, working theory, what I want to call it, is the ashen layer, which you wouldn't even know was there unless it wasn't for the other coloured layers in there that actually highlights it for you. That is made by the organic layer above. So that organic layer above makes the ashen layer. That's my working hypothesis theory. And now we've basically discovered highly likely what that is. We can make it chemically now. So we've gone from organic, making an inorganic layer, and we put that on. If we double flush the inorganic layer slowly over time, but quite rapidly, you know, as I said, if you can get 2 centimetres of growth from Sarracenia out of it on a daily basis, it's pretty rapid. It's working on the idea of the microbes, you see. So in the soil, sort of thing. And the sweets and microbes interreacting, sort of thing. So you get them to work together, sort of thing. Now, my suggestion to you, if you've gone to this New Eden, or whatever you call it, back to Eden, that's what it's called, Back to Eden. If you've gone to this Back to Eden thing, my suggestion to you is you shouldn't be using the heartwood, whitewood chunks or chips. You should be actually be going to the high lignin bark. So fine bark chips, or milled or ground bark chips, and putting that on the surface and double flushing that. See, I think that's the missing key. Because remember, around at Mandela's Reserve, we had that pile of chips or something, and we had hundreds of thousands of liverworts growing there. I think the key point with the liverwort, you know, you got this smoke and mirrors thing, you know, snail eggs, osmocote pellets, snail egg osmocote, creates the mist of confusion, basically, when you have basically almost equal possibilities. Is that a snail egg or is that an osmocote pellet? Snail egg, don't look at the liverworts in between. That's the idea of the smoke and mirrors, basically. I think the idea is the liverwort is telling us, just because it's a lower echelon member of the plant kingdom with a poor root system, rhizoids at best, it's not actually it's actually a gross feeder. It's a high nutrient plant. So you've got to ask yourself, well, where are these high nutrients coming from? And I put it to you that it's coming all from this ashen layer, which is made by the highly lignified brownwoods above. And of course, Australia probably got the most highly sclerophyzed vegetation in the world, sort of thing. And you've got to say, well, what is the evolutionary drive for that? I think I know what the answer is, but see if you can work it out and see if you can get to this stage. But anyway, we'll see how this goes, and I'll make up a few more buckets over the coming days. But on the other side of the GFC wall, I want to see the white sock soil guys measure the pH again, but using the universal indicator. I think, and why don't you do it as well? Because I think you're going to get a surprise. Because I think they're telling you bullshit. I really do. Anyway, Have we got drippage yet? Or we got a bit of stuckage in there or something? We haven't got one of those dolomite limestone chunks right on the hole or something. Anyway, I'll keep you notified and in the loop, as we say. So yeah, I think the bubbles are dying down, but it should be going through by now. Something wrong. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, over and out for now. See ya. And I think you'll see it'll be a nice white, almost the colour of, I don't know, do your perlite things look different? I don't know. They don't, what these people are showing us overseas doesn't look like the perlite we get here, sort of thing. Maybe I did read something, there's 2 types of perlite, an acid perlite and an alkaline perlite, but you might want to measure yours. But again, don't use a TDS meter. That's made to measure total dissolved solids. It's not basically made to, everything to do with the pH scale is measured back to the hydrogen electrode. So you want something that's based on the hydrogen electrode, which is what the universal indicator was calibrated against. So you want to use that. It's only good for half a pH unit, as I said, but it'll give you a pretty good reading of what the actual pH of your perlite really is. And find out whether they're telling you bullshit. Okay, see ya. Bye.